LPMR Talk Radio. Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Tweet us at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile. 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
Reality Bites. Reality Bites. Reality Bites.
What's good? My name is Charity Crop. Black Lives Matter is a racist hate group that's primary purpose is to murder the entirety of the American police force and create a new society in which black people are the rulers and the only ones that actually matter. No, that's actually not true at all. And if you believe that any part of that statement is even slightly true, then you do not understand the Black Lives Matter movement at all. And as far as this subject is concerned, you are a dummy. And that's fine. We're all dummies at something, but we're about to change that right now because in the year 2015 alone, 1,134 black men were murdered by the police, making us 9 times more likely to be killed than any other American is. Still yet, there has been no reform of the American police force at all. But that's just the surface. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, black people make up 37% of the prison population, despite only making up 13% of the country. That means we are arrested at 3 times the rate that we should be. Conversely, white people only make up 32% of the prison population, despite making up 63% of the country. That means they are arrested at only half the rate that they should be. And of course, I know what you're thinking.
Well, black people commit more crime. That's why they're in prison more. Just stop doing the crime.
False. Black people are arrested and sentenced more than white people. There's no research to support the claim that we actually commit more crimes. But whatever, what else you got for me?
Well, still, black people kill black people way more than police kill black people. Apparently, black lives don't matter to black people.
Good job. You're actually right about that one. But here's where it gets fun. Let's find out why black people kill each other more. Well, according to the BJS, 64% of all inmates in America do not have a high school diploma. Education and violent crime are so closely linked that State Farm Insurance and the Alliance for Excellent Education's report shows that if male graduation rate was improved by just 5%, that would decrease overall annual incidents of assault by 60,000, larceny by more than 37,000, motor vehicle theft by more than 31,000, and burglaries by more than 17,000. The school-to-prison pipeline is a real thing, people. There is countless evidence to support the fact that the worse schooling you have, the worse you tend to do in our society. Well, now, who has the worst schools? Black people. According to U.S. News and World Report, we have the lowest math and reading scores in every single grade. We are less likely than whites to have an associate degree or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. We are read to less, told a story less, given arts and crafts less. Even the chances of us visiting a library before the age of 5 are severely less. But you know what we're more likely to do? We're more likely to not graduate high school at all, twice as likely to be exact. We're 3 times more likely to be held back than white children, and also black children are 3 times more likely to be suspended or expelled. And yes, I know what you're thinking.
Well, it's not my fault your kids aren't doing well. Maybe you should start teaching them more than just how to twerk and play basketball. Or hey, what about maybe black kids just aren't as smart?
False. Stop it. I need you to try to clear your mind of all your societal conditioning and listen to me. Since the foundation of this country, black people have always been one of, if not the poorest race in the country. Currently, we are the poorest, be it low income, regular poverty, or extreme poverty. We are number 1 in all of those. So you know what that means? That means that because of this generational poverty, black parents may have less access to materials, less time because of job and family obligations. Our moms don't have time to read to us because they're spending all their time at work trying to keep the lights on. And yes, I specifically said moms because another sad thing about black culture is the fact that because America has imprisoned so many black men, a huge percentage of us grow up in single-parent households where the mother has to work twice as hard to provide, which thereby leads to the fact that black children are more likely to live in households that are low income, extremely poor, food insecure, or receiving long-term welfare support. And that causes severe stress, which thereby leads to the fact that black children are also more likely to have emotionally traumatic experiences in childhood, such as abuse or neglect or the death of a parent or witnessing domestic violence, which thereby leads to the fact that according according to the National Council for Drug Abuse, a person in an impoverished situation may abuse drugs or alcohol in order to cope with the dangerous environment she lives in, a way to deal with her financial situations or cope with physical or emotional abuse, which thereby leads to the fact that according to futurity.org, welfare in periods of instability in family structures are risk factors for early sexual activity. This is why little black children are starting to have sex at 11 and 12 in order to get away from the problems in their home life. So by the time they get to school, they do horribly because they got way too much other stuff going on in their head to be worried about Pythagorean theorem. Like, this is it. Poverty leads to bad schooling. Bad schooling leads to high criminal activity. High criminal activity leads to racism. And racism leads to discrimination and black people not being given the same opportunities, which leads right back to poverty. And the cycle starts over. So when we say Black Lives Matter, this is not a war cry. This is us trying to get you to understand that we are in a situation that has layers on top of layers that you probably wouldn't get or understand unless you are a part of the black culture. We barely understand it or know where it started, but given the history of this country, we got a pretty big hunch that it started with racism. So our theory is that if we end racism, then we won't be discriminated against and be given less opportunities, which means that we won't live in poverty, which means that we'll have better schools and do better in them, which means we'll have less criminal activities, which means we'll give other races less of a reason to be racist in the first place. But honestly, we're not even so sure about that last part because sometimes it feels like people just hate us because. And so it feels like sometimes y'all don't think our lives matter. And you're not even trying to understand the situation that we're in or the environment that made us this way. So, to all black people, please do your best to educate those around you. Give love and emotional support to your community. And if you have the financial means, give money to your community so that we can stimulate our own economies. To all other races, specifically white people, we would just like you to really try to learn our circumstances and not just write us off as criminals and thugs. Really try to learn what it is that you could do to help reconstruct this systemic cycle that seems to engineer criminals and thugs. And to all people, I love you.
You've just accessed the Now experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites.
Hello, welcome to the Dawn, playground for the new power generation.
Smallbusinessfunds.com. Find the right loan for your business. Need a startup loan of $1,000 to $10,000? Are you an entrepreneur with 6 months in operation looking for capital to launch? Smallbusinessfunds.com. Or an existing business with more than 6 months in need of quick loan in order to apply growth to your business? Smallbusinessfunds.com. SBF also assist established businesses with less than 100 employees. SBF, smallbusinessfunds.com. Visit us at smallbusinessfundz.com. Not too sure which loan's right for you? Call today and schedule a free consultation. There's no cost to apply. 678-791-2312. That's 678-791-2312. Smallbusinessfunds.com. Our courteous and experienced staff will guide you through each step of the loan process. So contact us today. SBF, smallbusinessfunds.com.
Hey, you should be making a living with your music by now. No one is going to listen to your music if you have few to no plays, likes, or followers. Don't stay behind. Promote your music now. Visit the link below for more info.
Reality Bites. Get ready for no holds barred conversation on reality and how it bites. This show is not for the faint of heart. Let's get rid of the rhetoric and non-truths and start talking for real. With topics such as, are you black or are you African American? Police brutality, their fault or ours? Is money really the root to all evil?
LPMR Talk Radio. Radio. Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Twitter's at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
Reality Bites. Reality Bites. Reality Bites.
Do you have music or a company that you want to share with the world? Well, you just clicked in the right place. Lost Pyramids Music Radio, the spot for indie entrepreneurs. For more info and getting your music or company promoted with our digital online network, contact us at 863-582-5483. And keep tuned in with us on mobileonlineradio.net. Every artist has no limits. For show.
Stay connected.
Welcome to the Dawn.
Shut it down on the ones and twos.
You are currently tuned in to Reality Bites Talk Radio.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Drop that.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many weeks shows just slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you.
Reality Bites.
Human beings in a mind. What's a mind to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything? Will he make it out alive? Alright.
So what's the deal, everybody? First, I'd like to thank everyone from around the world to around the corner for stopping on in and hanging out here with us on Reality Bites. My name is Danilo Ignacio. And, of course, we've got a lot to talk about. From Ben Carson, Donald Trump lying on President Obama, and now trending online, new footage has erupted about the Michael Brown case. You know, this is a very significant case for some of us because this was like the straw that broke the camel's back and reverberated through America for many, many people. That's why all the anarchy started and we started doing civil disobedience in the street. And part of the reason why we're conscious now in 2017, because back then, there's something that we all know systemically happens inside of the police department is they lie. They have the blue wall of silence, and they just tell untruths to make themselves look better in situations and to get themselves out of situations when they have done wrong against what they know to be the rules and regulations and the laws that they're supposed to be following. So now there's a filmmaker. They came up with some new footage, and it just premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival called Strange Fruit, Jason Pollock. And it shows evident that the police department and Darren Wilson conjured up a story and lied. And I think this was one of the things that people didn't understand, and white people in general, and a lot of black people that said, well, he went into the store and he did take something, where the matter of fact is, even if he did steal something, he shouldn't be dead for it. And by the hands of a white police officer that supposedly is protecting and serving. So they come in and they foster a story because they saw the footage that we're talking about right now, which was approximately 10 or 11 hours earlier, that would have given you the story of why he came back the next day and the occurrence happened and him and the attendant at that time ended up getting into something and him leaving in a burst of energy, so to speak. They fostered a story to make it look like he stole something, even though that still didn't have occurrence to what happened when he fell upon Darren Wilson. Start fostering and making us look bad. And this is something that we all know. Anyone that lives in the urban community know that they lie. And to believe that these men, especially the white ones in particular, foster up stories because they don't like us just because we're black, first and foremost. And they are then to be believed in the system as holier than thou, and what they say is right is where this system continues to go wrong and where we continue to die in this system. So now this has come out to show that the story is not real. We have to open up our eyes and look at what the next steps are going to be, because it premiered, like I said, at the South and Southwest, and now it's a firestorm online. So somebody got to answer some questions at some point. So keep your eyes open and look. And don't take the information that the American broadcast system gives you as holier than thou, because it's all part of the same system. The police work with the media companies that come out to tell the stories. I've seen it. We've been right here in Harlem and something happens, and when the news lady in the van comes out, she speaks to the police officer, not in the hello, how do you way. It's more, hey, what's up? They know each other. So these stories get fostered, and then they get shared, and then the truth gets suppressed. And then we get these quick judgments, and then police go free. So in the video, dated 9 August 2014 at 1:15 a.m., the teenager, Michael Brown, can be seen handing over the counter a small bag, which the store employees then passed around and smelled before a member of the staff gave Mike Brown 2 boxes of cigarillos. As Mike was walking out, he decided to return to the counter, and he handed the clerk the bag with the cigarillos, and it was put behind the counter. That was the new footage that was shown, which was approximately 10 to 11 hours earlier, which the police did see. The footage that we saw was when he returned to the store 10 hours later. Then he was seen standing behind the counter with his arms behind his back. He then reached over the counter and grabbed a box of cigarillos, and he left. He pushed a member of the staff out of his way. See, that was the occurrence that they said now he came in and robbed, when it was the same box of cigarillos that was in there last night. Go look at the footage. You'll see it. It's very clear what it was. So what could have happened, as we all know, because when we live in these communities with these people, like they even earmarked in the footage, the Sundance footage that they have out now, is that there's a certain form of life living in urban neighborhoods. There's trade goods for goods, services for services. So what you saw was him trading approximately, they say, a $20 bag of weed for the cigarillo boxes. So those are the same cigarillo boxes that he came to pick up the next day, the same cigarillo that they now said that he tried to steal. Again, this is a natural occurrence that goes on. For this system to have to change, there needs to be some independent, real review boards of the people of the neighborhood that hold police accountable to what they do. Because, see, that's where the lie begins. And then the media takes hold of it and gives it a general eye view and forget the particulars that really makes the story what it really is. And that's how come we continue to die in the streets of America. And when we talk about our politicians, I'm going to ask you all a question. Who protects them when they're out in the street? Who gives them their motorcade? Who's at their house when they're leaving in the morning? The same people are part of the same system that we're talking about that does injustice. So they're in a particular situation, so they pretend like they don't see it, because we keep stonewalling on the real information and conversations that should be going on in America about why black people are dying by the hands of the judicial system. It's not just the white police officers, it's the system. So we want to hear your viewpoints. Let us know what you think. Because again, this particular case, I still remember I was traveling back from Atlanta, moving back to New York, and you saw it in the streets of America that people were tired. So now for us to get this information kind of earmarks the reason why we were tired, and continue to earmark what we talk about and what they forget to add in conversations when they're not holding the police officers accountable for what they're doing. Yes, there are good cops, but there are more lies than there are good cops. And that's why black people continue to die on the streets. Because it's always their word against ours, and they're always vindicated. Even when we know they lie. How many countless videos have we not seen, and yet still they continue to get vindicated because the court system works with the judicial system, which works with the government, and those are the people they're protecting. Reality Bites.
Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Twitter's at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
So off the news feed we're just receiving, Jason Pollock did an interview with a CNN host, and here is his response to where the footage came from. Listen in.
Jason Pollock, where did this come from? Where did this video come from? How did you obtain it?
I obtained this video by deciding to move to Ferguson, work with the family, and do real investigative journalism for the last 2 years. And that's how the truth comes out. When you do real work and you focus on one story and you dig into it. We originally found the paperwork in the St. Louis County Police Report, which shows that they saw a video at 1:13 a.m. of Michael Brown walking into the convenience store. And that tipped us off that this happened. They admit that it happened in their own report, and the document which we found proves it. So them saying that they don't know what they're talking about is ridiculous, because they either don't read the report or they're not telling us the truth. Based on everything that's happened, it seems like they're probably not telling us the truth. So we found the document, and then we were able to acquire the video. And the video is at the same exact time as their own document. So to prove that the video is real, they proved it for us. Their document says that Michael Brown walked into the store on August 9th at 1:13 a.m. The video that we've acquired, at the top of the video, you can see the time code, and it clearly says the exact same time and date. So the video is pretty much corroborated by the St. Louis County Police Report. Thank you, St. Louis County. I'm not exactly sure why they don't understand what's happening with it, but I think that they're pretty much just pointing fingers at each other right now because they've been outed. And what this video shows is that they lied to the world about what happened. They wanted to make Mike look bad, so they put out half a video to destroy his character in his death.
Destroy his character in his death while lying to the world and saving a brother police officer. That's what we're dealing with in America. Another very poignant thing that he said in his interview is, you see how real investigative work is done when media is working in the right format. And that's part of the reason why me, Danilo Ignacio, and everyone else here utilize this platform to make people understand that we have to have our own form of communication to the world. Because information like this, if we were central and we had somewhere to distribute our own information, we could have been down in Ferguson finding out all these things, not taking anything away from Jason Pollock, but finding out all these things because we keep the pressure on. One of the problems in America with our black and brown people is when the TV stops talking about it, we stop living it. And we've got to stop that. We've got to wake ourselves up and use this incident, and it's going to keep rolling out to show people what really goes on in the police force.
Reality Bites. Yo, this your boy Lifo. Keep tuned in. We got more to come after this commercial break.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I don't know about you, but dodging chaos and jumping through hoops isn't how I want to spend time booking my flights. I get enough of that. That's why I use CheapOair.com. They do all the work for you, so its best airfares are automatically returned in just seconds. And that means you can book with confidence. CheapOair saves you time, and you can find amazing rates, guaranteed. Seriously, CheapOair is the smart choice. Book today to save up to $20. CheapOair, travel the world for less.
Now, let's take this opportunity to book your next business or vacation getaway with CheapOair. For quick and easy access, simply scroll down our webpage at mobileonlineradio.net and click on the banner ad to get started today.
Hey, you should be making a living with your music by now. No one is going to listen to your music if you have few to no plays, likes, or followers. Don't stay behind. Promote your music now. Visit the link below for more info.
Do you have music or a company that you want to share with the world? Well, you've just clicked in the right place. Lost Pyramids Music Radio, the spot for indie entrepreneurs. For more info and getting your music or company promoted with our digital online network, contact us at 863-582-5483. And keep tuned in with us on mobileonlineradio.net. Every artist has no limits. Show.
Stay connected.
Welcome to the Dawn.
Shut it down on the ones and twos.
You are currently tuned into the feed right here on Reality Bites Radio. Stay in the know on what's buzzing online. It's now 26 minutes in, and burning down the feed is Dr. Ben Carson, the newly crowned HUD secretary. He didn't even make a good week yet before he really showed us who he's going to be and who he really is. So, Roland Martin from News One Now sat down with Mr. Carson after he made his such inflammatory comments on not knowing the difference between immigrants and slaves. Sometimes you can be so smart and so stupid all at the same time. Brain surgeon, huh, sir?
Newly confirmed HUD Secretary Dr. Ben Carson made a crazy statement on his first day on the job. The only black member of President Trump's cabinet actually compared slaves to immigrants during a speech to employees at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Listen.
That's what America is about. A land of dreams and opportunity. There were other immigrants who came here in the bottom of slave ships, worked even longer, even harder for less. But they too had a dream that one day their sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, great-grandsons, great-granddaughters might pursue prosperity and happiness in this land.
Dr. Carson going deep. Then he went on Armstrong Williams' Sirius XM radio show. Of course, Armstrong is his business manager, to further explain his comments. Listen.
Well, I said to people, think about how our strength is our unity in this country, and that there are things that we have in common. And I'd say go to Ellis Island and look at all of those pictures on the wall of immigrants who came here from every part of the world, many of them carrying all their earthly belongings in their two hands, not knowing what to expect. And what a hard life they had, but they didn't do it for themselves. They did it for their children and their grandchildren. And then I said there were other immigrants who came here in the bottom of slave ships, who worked even harder, even longer, but they too had a dream that one day their great-grandchildren might live in freedom and prosperity in this country.
And when you use the term immigrant, what you're saying is that anybody who's come from a foreign place is an immigrant, and that's what America. Yes, and they were coming from.
Everybody in that auditorium was with me. They knew exactly what I was.
Yes.
It's only those people who were always trying to stir up controversy. Did they talk about the good things? Did they talk about the prolonged standing ovation, all the people waiting in line to get pictures, the people who asked very intelligent questions and got good answers for them, the lady who stood up and said, some of us were concerned, we're not concerned about you anymore? No, they don't cover that. They say, he said that slaves were immigrants, and that's a terrible thing to say, and he's out of contact with reality. He's crazy. It's really kind of sad what the media has degenerated into.
That wasn't us. Carson had to issue another explanation, posting this on his personal Facebook page. I'm proud of the courage and perseverance of Black Americans and their incomprehensible struggle from slavery to freedom. I'm proud that our ancestors overcame the evil and repression that we know as slavery. The slave narrative and immigrant narrative are two entirely different experiences. Slaves were ripped from their families and their homes and forced against their will after being sold into slavery by slave traders. The immigrants made the choice to come to America. They saw this country as a land of opportunity. In contrast, slaves were forced here against their will and lost all their opportunities. We continue to live with that legacy. The two experiences should never be intertwined nor forgotten as we demand the necessary progress towards an America that's inclusive and provides access to equal opportunity for all. We should revel in the fact that although we got here through different routes, we have many things in common. Now that should unite us in our mission to have a land where there is liberty and justice for all. Okay, folks, let me sort of explain something about, okay, why this actually matters, okay? The fact of the matter is, it's just dead wrong. You would think that Betsy DeVos, the education secretary, was Ben Carson's teacher in school because she also was clueless when it came to HBCUs on the issue of school choice. This thing is even bigger than Dr. Ben Carson. Why? Because Republicans and conservatives all across this country, okay, not all of them, pray for Rena, not all of them, but the reality is here. They consistently want to rewrite history. In Texas, Tea Party group in Tennessee demands textbooks overlook U.S. founders' slave-owning history. Folks, do y'all understand what I'm saying? See, what you have here is this whole notion of recreating this idea of what slavery actually is. How Texas is whitewashing Civil War history. Same thing. They, in the textbooks there in Texas, they tried to actually change the textbooks to rewrite the history. Why is this important? Because they tried to make the argument that somehow, guess what? Slaves were workers. Mm-hmm. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Workers. Now, even in his initial comment, Carson said that, slaves worked harder and a lot less. No, not a lot less than immigrants, for nothing. That's history. The company that actually put that in the Texas textbooks apologized, saying we made a mistake calling slaves workers. Yeah, you made a mistake, McGraw-Hill, because they were not workers. They were slaves. Slaves built this nation for free. And I'm sick and tired of Republicans and their conservative friends trying to somehow rewrite the history books. It is what it is. Slaves are not immigrants. Slaves did not want to come here. Slaves wanted to be back home with their families, where they were born, where they were raised. And so, look, Secretary Ben Carson, here's what I propose. I propose me, you, and DeVos go to Howard University and go to their auditorium and actually have a discussion on the legacy of slavery in America. Because you know what? It impacts your job in HUD, because the reasons that we have right now the housing inequities in America is because of slavery. Because after slavery, we didn't get to have housing. There wasn't 40 acres in a muse. Because of HUD and the Federal Housing Administration, where the redlining was created, where black folks weren't even not even allowed to live in public housing. Oh, Betsy DeVos, you're in education. We can talk about that as well when it comes to Plessy versus Ferguson, Dred Scott, Brown versus Board of Education, separate but unequal. We're still facing that. And so I would appreciate if Republicans, if you please stop trying to make it wonderful and nice and it's all cute when it comes to slavery. It has nothing to do with immigrants. Carson, you were dead wrong. What was in your statement? Articulate it. Say it publicly. So people understand that a neurosurgeon actually has some sense when it comes to American history. I would appreciate it.
Reality Bites Radio. That's right, Roland Martin. Tell it like it T.I. is. Tune in to more Roland Martin on News One Now. You are currently tuned into the feed right here on Reality Bites Radio. Stay connected and join the conversation at any time, or tell us what's on your mind. Tweet us at RealityBites121 or email us realitybitesradio@gmail.com. Or stay mobile, 646-580-6603. And also post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 Online Radio. From around the world to around the corner, welcome once again to Reality Bites Radio. My name is Danilo Ignacio.
Yo, this your boy Lifo. Keep tuned in. We got more to come after this commercial break.
Reality Bites Radio. Get ready for no holds barred conversation on reality and how it bites. This show is not for the faint of heart. Let's get rid of the rhetoric and non-truths and start talking for real with topics such as, are you black or are you African American? Police brutality, their fault or ours? Is money really the root to all evil?
Welcome to the Dawn. You've just accessed the Now experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites Radio.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Infamous.
And I'm that man, Jimmy B.
And we are them KMF boys. Coming to you straight out of Pittsburgh.
Here to bring you the exclusive preview on the things we do
and the life we live.
You are now listening to Lost Pyramid Radio.
Stay connected.
LPMR, where indie music shine. Radio.
Whether you're an independent artist looking for airplay or an activist looking for a platform to speak to the world, LPMR Radio. Contact us today, 863-582-5483.
Hey, you should be making a living with your music by now. No one is going to listen to your music if you have few to no plays, likes, or followers. Don't stay behind. Promote your music now. Visit the link below for more info.
My weapon of choice, the turntables.
Welcome. Shutdown in process.
LPMR Speaks. Talks Radio.
We are controlling transmission.
Get ready for no holds barred conversation on reality and how it bites. This show is not for the faint of hearts. Let's get rid of the rhetoric and non-truths and start talking for real. With topics such as, you black or are you African American? Police brutality, their fault or ours? Is money really the root of all evil? So join Danilo Ignacio and Hugh Green every Sunday at 10 p.m. live for Reality Bites right here on LPMR.207. Go to mobileonlineradio.net and tune in now. LPMR Speaks Talk Radio.
You are currently tuned in to Reality Bites Talk Radio.
Hello, welcome to the Dawn, playground for the new power generation.
I worked my whole life for this one. Another one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those that are just joining us, welcome to the feed right here on Reality Bites Radio. My name is Danilo Ignacio, and I see that we're almost 40 minutes in and a year later to Flint, Michigan. Another one of America's horrible mishaps when it comes to our black people living in America. It is now a year later, and the water still not right. And to add insult to injury, they now want them to pay for the water. I mean, it just gets more disgusting every single day. We're going to take this to RT, and they're going to give you the wrap-up on 1 year later, Flint, Michigan. RT, ready to go.
Yes, the Flint water crisis in Michigan is still ongoing, despite the fact it's getting little to no attention. You likely remember that story. 3 years ago, the city switched its water supply to cut back on cost. As a result, children suffered from lead poisoning and some have died from Legionnaire's disease. The story scandalized the nation nearly 1 whole year ago, but today, the water is still contaminated, and only a few officials have been held responsible for the fatal outcome. Here's RT correspondent Ashley Banks with more.
Flint, Michigan's water crisis is still ongoing, and according to media reports, efforts to aid Flint residents are shrinking. Earlier this month, the state of Michigan announced Flint residents will have to cover the full cost of water in their homes. Residents living in Flint are mainly living off of low yearly incomes and are minorities who will not be able to incur this cost. Now, the state originally promised it would continue paying the water bills through March 31st. However, the authorities stopped short of that, only paying residents' bills until the end of February. Now, state officials say they made the change because they tested the water, and according to them, it meets federal regulations. Now, Flint's Mayor Karen Weaver said city residents were caught off guard by this announcement, adding this is a trust issue. That's what this is. State officials say one thing and then do another. She also said that more corrosion studies are needed, and Flint needs at least 2 years to begin supplying its own water. Now, the water crisis began 3 years ago when the city switched to a new water source in order to save money. Shortly after that, several children were tested positive for elevated blood lead levels, and 12 people died from a Legionnaire's disease outbreak. Now, experts say this is the cause of neglect that resulted in the water not being properly treated. Corrine Miller, who was state director of disease control, was charged for neglecting to fulfill her duties. She pleaded no contest last year. She has been sentenced to a year's probation, 300 hours of community service, and has to apologize to Flint residents. Now, a total of 13 current and former government officials have been charged in connection to the water crisis, 2 of which were appointed by Governor Rick Snyder. To date, Governor Snyder has yet to be charged, and according to media reports, he is confident he will not be. But no matter how many officials will be charged, the water problem in Flint remains unresolved, affecting low-income residents the most. In Washington, Ashley Banks, RT.
Reality Bites Radio. Thank you, Ashley Banks from Russia Today. From Flint, Michigan to now, a conversation on the feed that I think you should enjoy and listen to. Many people, many black people, still pretend that racism does not exist, and it does. And everyone's talking about it. We're going to get involved in a panel discussion with Roland Martin, Angela Rye, Principal and CEO of Impact Strategist, George Carr, PhD and the Chairman of African American Studies, Howard University, Cleo Manigault, PhD, Behavioral and Cultural Analyst, and Christopher Menzer, PhD, Political Strategist. The conversation is in regard to the way that we see now many, many white people feel that I guess we've taken from the system, or we've gotten more from the system, when it's just utterly ridiculous. White privilege, even for those white people that are not to consider themselves racist, it still works in your favor, and you all must own up to it. So here we go. Roland Martin, News One now.
All right, y'all. Since the election, political pundits have blamed Democrats for ignoring white working-class Americans who came out in droves to vote for Donald Trump. Well, the Huffington Post recently did a survey which found that Trump supporters were more motivated by something else. The website found that Trump supporters believe that black folks are less deserving than average Americans. In fact, when you hear the phrase average Americans, they don't even include us. That viewpoint was the main dividing line between Clinton and Trump supporters. In fact, if you look at respondents were asked if they agreed with the statement that average Americans have gotten less than they deserve. More than half of Trump and Clinton voters agreed. Yes. Well, but when respondents were asked if blacks have gotten less than they deserve over the past few years, 57% of Clinton folks said yes. Just 12% of Trump voters said yes. 62% of black folks said yes. Overall, 28% of white said yes. Now, I also want to throw this out there, because when you talk about this whole issue of who's a real American, when you hear that phrase, are you included in that? Not only that, when you hear this discussion of the working class in America, why is that somehow excluding black folks who work and Latinos who work? In fact, people of color are actually, if you look at the various stats, the hardest working people in the country. Let's talk about it. John Hope Bryant, Angela Rye, Greg Carr, Chris Metzler, Cleo Monago. See, this was interesting to me because, look, I'm in the words business, and I tell people you have to listen. During Donald Trump's, a lot of his rallies, he would talk about, we are going to put America back to work, and we're going to help the African Americans and the Latinos. And I told people, listen to phrases. What he was saying is, I'm going to help y'all, and we're going to do something about them. That's really what this poll speaks to. And I think a lot of people just don't understand there's this otherness, if you will. I'm going to use Newt Gingrich's phrase for President Obama when he got elected. There's this otherness about him. We are seen as this otherness.
Roland, that's why what you've been doing by putting Reverend Barbara out front with this fusion agenda is very important. It is never, non-whites have never been real Americans. And then you see the Democrats getting ready to quadruple down on this silly fantasy that they can pursue these somehow missing white voters. It's a reinforcement of whiteness. They're playing into the hands of racism.
Even the term non-whites is a reinforcement of whiteness.
Of course.
We saying we are non.
No, of course.
And how we think and how it impacts how we behave and how we see things. And we're involved in this thinking, which is why we haven't resisted enough to become so-called real Americans, whatever the heck that is.
I don't know we ever can.
Well, in some respects, though, we also perpetuate that myth. When we talk about affirmative action, for example, as much as I've worked in this industry, I have never heard someone say to me, bring me employees, white employees who are qualified. Yet what we say is we're going to hire African Americans and other minorities who are qualified.
Well, actually, that's not we. I mean, in fact, that's what was been driven. What happens, because I've actually done panels where I would stop. I say, hold up, don't use the qualified, because when you talk about white folks, you don't use the qualified.
That's right.
So it's adopting sort of that language. And again, and I have to tell black people who are in HR, listen to what you're saying. You are reinforcing another narrative.
Well, but that is exactly my point. So when I say we, the people who are in diversity work, the people who are in HR work, we are taking that language and adopting it, because in a lot of respects what we're saying is we don't want to lower the standards. I think we have to be conscious of that as well.
I think a couple things. One is I think that we don't do that. I think that that's an overgeneralization, and there are probably some on the fringe that do that. But I know certainly the diversity work that I've done, I never say that. And in fact, I challenge it the same way that Roland does. I want to get back to this poll, though, because I think it's important when we look at exit polling data from this election. It says very clearly that Hillary Clinton won voters on the economy. Where she did not win is on fighting terrorism, which is code for Muslims and supporting a Muslim ban. Where she did not win is on supporting immigration, which we know is code for being anti-Mexican or anti-brown. People don't know for some reason that black people and white people also immigrate here. I think that we have to then understand that that is, again, a racial issue. She did not win on issues of race. Donald Trump won an other and us versus them campaign. He ran it and he won it. And I think that we have to be honest now in saying we hear Trump voters all the time talking about identity politics. Stop using identity politics. Well, white identity politics is what galvanized and went out to vote. The Get Out the Vote effort was on white identity politics.
John, Tom Barreau has a book called Brainwash, and he talked about, in that book, he talked about really this history in America of how folks have been brainwashed. And in this country, I don't care where you go, if you throw out poverty, and polling that will show it, instantly they'll think, oh, I'm talking about black people.
That's right.
Okay. I've challenged people to say, I'm like, look, numbers don't lie. When LBJ launched the war on poverty, he didn't go to the Delta.
Right.
He went to the no teeth folks in West Virginia.
Yeah,
No. I'm saying it for real. I'm saying no teeth because they didn't have dental, they didn't have health care. Right. And then when you hear folks say, well, you vote Democrat, oh my God, poor folks, this Charles Barkley quote, poor folks have been voting Democrat for 50 years, they're still poor. Some of the brokest states in America are red states.
Including his home state, Alabama.
A third of every federal dollar in Mississippi. The state that says they reject federal policy, they don't want federal help, is a federal dollar, as an example. That's the poorest state in America. Look, we're rearranging the deck chairs in the Titanic in many ways because we're talking about black and brown and white, whatever. The real issue is green. Whether you're white, black, red, brown, or yellow, what everybody want to see is some more green. And there's no real progressive strategic agenda around changing that reality. The reality is there's more poor whites in America, which is your point, than poor anybody else, but no one raises that point. But a 500 credit score neighborhood looks the same, whether you're white rural or black urban. You have a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, next to a liquor store, all feeding on poverty, financial illiteracy, low tax base, and depression. And that's whether you're white rural or urban or outside of a military base. That drives all of this hate and depression that somebody is running for office and feeding on. And I want to change that.
But when you hear the poll where there's this belief that, they're getting more stuff.
It's economic, Roland. No. This happened in 1935 with Hitler. He was jailed in 1925 as a crackpot. And then they saluted him in 1939. The only thing that changed was that Germany's economy fell apart. And so they started looking for somebody else to blame. This has been, whenever you have racial strife, you have economic strife 10 years before it. This is as old as the history itself, and I'm suggesting we're being punked.
And Chris, we saw this in California when they passed the amendment targeting legal immigrants. That was because the California economy tanked largely due to the closure of military bases.
Correct.
But it was, we got to blame somebody.
Yeah. And
this is economic.
This is economic. I absolutely agree with you. It is the racialized piece first, and then you get into the economic catastrophes. And I think this election conversation, a lot of it has to do with economics.
So let me.
If you look at things based on facts and formulas, it does get down to finances. When you look at things in terms of the hunger for power and the hunger to retain white supremacy, all that stuff goes out of the water.
With all due respect,
white folks are willing to be...
Let's stop there. White supremacy. Let's stop there. No.
Wait. Finish your point.
I don't want to stop.
I'm going to go to John. Finish your point.
The whole issue around black people deserving is a code for dehumanizing us compared to white folks, no matter what goes on. Mm-hmm. And we have to understand that the reason why we keep on losing compared to other people as a collective, we have individuals who get some stuff, but as a collective people compared to Asians, whites, everybody else, we keep on being on the back end of the stick because we won't take a look at what's going on here in this society in terms of how white supremacy influences our own thinking.
I'm about to say something that's going to anger everybody, which is fine. I'm 71% Cameroon, African. Then I'm 26% European. The rest is Asian, Indian, and other. We're all mixed race. So if I hate white folks, I hate myself. If you want to make the Grand Master of Ku Klux Klan have a heart attack, give him a DNA test because he's part black. Stop. So that's a separate issue.
I got it.
That's a separate issue.
Hold up.
So the white supremacist middle class person who lives somewhere in Atlanta who voted for DT, I'm gonna call his name. They weren't white supremacists. They lost their job in 2009, making $100,000 a year. They're decent, God-loving people. They didn't get the job for 2 years, and when they got rehired, they make $50,000 a year, half their pay. They're pissed off. They're frustrated. Then they look at TV and they say, "I don't recognize this country. I can't get a job. No one's batting for me." And let me finish my sentence.
1 second.
And that person gets pimped by somebody who's running on a fear agenda saying somebody else is your problem. Right. And I think by us feeding into this narrative that all white people are the devil just pits them against us.
Nobody said that. Why did you get that? Wait. Greg, go ahead.
I apologize.
It's green, right?
I agree completely.
I agree completely. But you know better than anybody here. Finance is international.
Yes, sir.
White supremacy is global. When you see these alliances between the far-right parties in France and in Germany and other places and Donald Trump, what you're seeing is people are being fooled domestically, but money knows no national border. Meaning what? Domestically, they use race, they use these things, but finance capital is going to make a whole lot of money. And with all due respect, acting like we can somehow get in that game and win it, we're the reason they have the money in the first place, brother.
No, we can win this game. We can win this game.
Let me say this.
We can win this.
Let me say this. we built this country for free.
Amen.
We've never been paid for that.
That's right.
And the fact, to get back to the point, which is whether or not we are deserving, the fact that people don't see that we are deserving when we were never paid for what we've done has all types of racial animus and oppression tied to it. If we continue to ignore the fact that people find targets who are other, who are black, who are brown, who are Asian, who are different from what they deem as real American, when we all know that real American looked nothing like the white pilgrim that came. Like, let's just be really clear.
That's right.
So I'm not saying that this is about people who were punked or bamboozled or anything. I'm saying the reality of that. The reason why they were able to succumb to that is because they needed someone to blame, and that is about a white superiority complex. That does not mean that economics is not at the root of it, but I'm saying let's not pretend that racism isn't front and center.
Reality Bites.
Welcome to the Dawn. You've just accessed the Now experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites.
Thank you for joining us here on LPMR Reality Bites Talk Radio. Stay tuned in for more with Danilo Ignacio after this commercial break.
Have you ever heard of True Laundry Detergent? Well, here's your opportunity. True Laundry Detergent is offering free shipping in selected areas just by texting the word TRUE to 404-493-0523 or give them a call. True Laundry Detergent is 4 times concentrated and perfect for high-efficiency washers. Just 1 ounce removes dirt and brightens fabrics, leaving each load with a clean, fresh scent. Best of all, True Laundry Detergent contains no animal products and no harsh chemicals, making it safe for sensitive skin. Follow True Laundry Detergent today. Search on social media platforms True Laundry Detergent or text the word TRUE to 404-493-0523. And when calling, be sure to ask about their free delivery. True Laundry Detergent.
Whether you're an independent artist looking for airplay or an activist looking for a platform to speak to the world, LPMR Radio. Contact us today, 863-582-5483. LPMR Talk Radio.
From around the world to around the corner, you are tuned into Reality Bites Radio right here on LPMR. Once again, everyone here definitely express a great gratitude in our first premiere show after almost 2 months of not being on the air, coming back and having almost close to 5,000 listeners, and a great majority of them came from America. Almost 49.8% of them came from America. A great next majority came from Canada. We thank you, and everybody in between, we thank you as well. They tell us that we just want to be numbed and entertained and turned into pop culture freaks. That's not what we believe. We believe that we're conscious and we can have conscious information that people will enjoy listening to because it helps them to understand not only what's going on, but the things that are going on in their head. That's why we do what we do. We're 57 minutes into Reality Bites Radio news feed, and coming up next week, Sunday, we'll have more people joining the Reality Bites platform. We'll have a gentleman that will have his own show called Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr. We'll also have a gentleman by the name of Link Green, and he'll be bringing to you a segment on PTSD because of the oppression and suppression in America. Have mental issues, and we need to start talking about them. We need to start bringing it out into the world so we can fix our mental issues to make ourselves better for the future of black people in America. So thank you again. Stay tuned. We have a lot more coming up right here on Reality Bites Radio. Grand Rising, power to the black people. Reality Bites. Get ready for no holds barred conversation on reality and how it bites. This show is not for the faint of heart. Let's get rid of the rhetoric and non-truths and start talking for real. With topics such as, are you black or are you African American? Police brutality, their fault or ours? Is money really the root to all evil?
LPMR Talk Radio. Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Twitter's at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
Reality Bites. Reality Bites. Reality Bites. Reality Bites Global Calendar Watch. For immediate listing, contact us at 1-646-580-6603. Stay connected. Get your county, city, state, or country's events listed today. Stay in the know. Send your event flyers or general information to RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. The more time you give, the more time you'll get. Stay in the know. Reality Bites Global Calendar Watch. Reality Bites Radio. Coming up next on Reality Bites Radio, conversation with Andrew Williams Jr. as he sits down with Susan Elsa to talk about our planet Earth and what we must structurally do to fix what has happened, from global warming to Michael Jackson. Stay tuned for Conversation with Andrew Williams Jr.
Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Twitter's at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
Welcome to the dawn. You've just accessed the Now Experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites.
Good to meet you.
It's good to meet you too.
Well, this is a fantastic happenance to be speaking with you on this Earth Hour that opens up I believe, the rest of our lives to a new Earth show.
Yes, totally. Like the energy is very strong. There's many things going on in the people's minds. Like I'm seeing everywhere people tuning in to this vision, you know.
Well, on that, the beginning, Susan, perhaps then we could begin by introducing who you are. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Susan Elsa, and I am an artist, a spiritual person that has just a lot of care for this planet and for humanity. And I do feel that this is the purpose for me being here on this planet right now in this time.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So this is your time. So please explain to us what you'd like for us to share with the world.
Well, for me, of course, like from my personal perspective, being also so deeply connected to Michael Jackson, I'm trying to complete the vision that we both share, that we both work hard for, because you see, like everything that we have here, it might look temporary, but it is not. Like the human soul is basically what finally all this is about, and the planet is a home for the human soul to be here on this journey to learn very important things that we need in our eternal life which God created for us. And so I think that when you look back at the Earth song that he did, and many other songs like We Are the World and Heal the World, you will notice that this is all like throughout his work. he keeps mentioning the same message and the same topic, because he was being very serious about it. And to me, my job is to, repeat his message as long as I have to until the people understood it completely.
Right. Got it. Okay.
And wherever there are questions, I can complete the big picture,
Then the message for this year, it seems, is that it's time for us to actually do a part to heal the earth. But now it means more than just a rhetoric. It actually means that we have to now heal the earth, literally. In 2012, the Mayans had predicted that the earth would end. But, of course, time didn't stop. But, Susan, there was a cataclysmic change because beginning in 2013, our Earth has actually entered into what is known as an extinct level event horizon. Meaning we have a limited amount of time to pay attention to the health of the Earth because Mother Earth is home to all of us. So this is the time that we're focusing right now on creating unity in our global community to bring people together behind the words and the inspiration of Michael Jackson.
Exactly, and it is not just about what we see, right? It's about all the things that were ignored by society for so long that also are part of this change, including like how we treat each other, what emotional energy we keep creating every day, like if you think about a town and you have half of this town thinking daily negative things, feeling negative emotions, all of this is in the atmosphere. And all of this is part of what was going wrong on this planet and what is being now changed and corrected and tuned in. You see what I mean?
Right.
Like this is from a spiritual perspective, this is an opportunity in time that is unique, and we just have to take this opportunity if God offers it to us,
Well, sure. And I wanted to also let people know that you and I actually met through a new paradigm, a new Bermuda Triangle.
Yes, exactly.
So how does the sacred geometry and sacred because the triangle is part of our sacred geometry, which was, of course, founded in Africa, in Egypt. Mm-hmm. And now we're here, and we hear so much about, the Bermuda Triangle and the negativity of it, but it seems that could actually be a transformational time and place for the whole world to begin healing.
Well, you see, this is an important point because if you think about all these stories that have this negative association regarding the triangle, it's really saying that this planet, like if you say about the triangle that is the devil's triangle, right? Which is a title that they gave to it, and they made movies about it, and they kept spreading this negative imagery, right? That is exactly what I'm talking about, because this is a negative mind focus. And what you think, you become. What you think, it happens. Like you give it energy, you give energy out, And if you have everyone thinking negative, it's like charging is focusing negative energy on that part of the planet. And because this happens to be a very important, energy center of the planet's body.
Right.
What we're doing is just showing the truth of nature, because nature isn't negative, and nature definitely doesn't belong to the devil. You see what I mean?
Right.
And this planet is a beautiful creation of God, and that is something that has to start in the minds of the people.
Right.
We're working on the minds of the people, like the consciousness, to change it into a positive perspective. So this is why we're doing this project, with the Archangel Michael versus the devil at the triangle, to basically transform the triangle. And at the same time, it's a transformation of the consciousness of the people regarding how they think about the planet.
We are now currently in conversation with Andrew Williams Jr. Stay tuned for more right after this commercial break.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a beat poet. Name your price. A tool, an idea, an inspiration to do more than just say what you want to pay. Oh no, but to see the options that could fit your budget. Steve, enough bongos.
Find car insurance that fits your budget at Progressive.com.
Makes me want to dance. Steve!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Have you ever heard of True Laundry Detergent? Well, here's your opportunity. True Laundry Detergent is offering a free shipping in selected areas just by texting the word TRUE to 404-493-0523 or give them a call. True Laundry Detergent is 4 times concentrated and perfect for high-efficiency washers. Just 1 ounce removes dirt and brightens fabrics, leaving each load with a clean, fresh scent. Best of all, True Laundry Detergent contains no animal products and no harsh chemicals, making it safe for sensitive skin. Follow True Laundry Detergent today. Search on social media platforms True Laundry Detergent or text the word TRUE to 404-493-0523. And when calling, be sure to ask about their free delivery. True Laundry Detergent.
Representing Brooklyn, you are now tuned into the hottest internet radio station online, North Pyramid Music Radio. Keep tuned, mobileonlineradio.net.
Reality Bites Radio.
We're working on the minds of the people, like the consciousness, to change it into a positive perspective. So this is why we're doing this project, like with the Archangel Michael versus the devil at the triangle, to basically transform the triangle. And at the same time, it's a transformation of the consciousness of the people regarding how they think about the planet.
I've only made one trip outside the United States, and that happened to be to Bermuda.
Okay.
And while there, I met a fascinating gentleman. His name was Duval Daga Spencer. And 23 years ago, for his son's birth, he created an icon that's become the cultural icon for the entire country of Bermuda. It's an AJ the Little Gombe. But what I've done, Susan, is I've brought it here to the United States, to America, to reconnect ourselves throughout the diaspora. As you understand, the African Union, for the first time in history, is now reaching out to those people that are outside the continent of Africa and saying, well, let's reconnect.
That's good.
But what none of us have done is to give to honor our elders, those spirits and souls that left Africa but never made it anywhere. I mean, there's a spiritual gap that we're all not paying attention to, at least in my opinion. And again, it's the closest landmass to that Middle Passage, our Ma'afa, or our own Holocaust, is nearest to Bermuda. So, healing that rift, I think, would help the entire humankind heal itself spiritually. So that's what motivates me to help work with you to make this happen right now.
Of course, because also many, many things that are part of civilization today, worldwide, were invented in Africa. Like Africa is a very important continent in the history of this planet and in the spiritual energy of this planet. And I mean, the truth is the truth, and it was not correct. It was very wrong from a spiritual perspective to just take people from a continent and bring them somewhere else. And there were many things that were done at in that time, which were creating also a negative karma. And all of this is being released now, and it's healing. And looking at it, like looking honestly at it, and healing things, changing things, admitting the truth, is something that is going to be part of this healing process.
Exactly. Well, I'm so glad to be a part of the sharing it with you, because we have multiple places, ways of reaching people. Facebook is a portal. It's a tool, but it's a tool that connects to so many hundreds of millions of people around the world, billions. So, part of what we're doing with our encounter group, and I thank you for accepting my invitation to it, is to pull together a place where we can share these ideas with people that have the same commitment to us. And so just know that you're at home. So welcome.
That's good. Thank you. Because I think this is very important. Communication, exchanging ideas, talking. This is very important. Like, I can tell you from a perspective as a spiritual medium that this is something that every soul needs. In fact, like when you want to talk about all these souls of people that were taken away from their homes and then they didn't even arrive anywhere, right? We're talking about an injustice, like a traumatic experience, which these souls have gone through. And as a medium, when you help heal these souls and release them so that they can ascend, what you do is simply you listen to them, you talk with them.
Okay.
It's like, and then they feel better because they see there's someone that cares, someone that understands them. They can find their conclusion with what happened. And then they can go into heaven. They can ascend.
Got it.
It's very important. It's important to talk about it. It's important that we show basically these souls, that we still remember them and that we care about them and that we learn something from what happened to them. And it wasn't just a meaningless suffering. You see what I mean?
Right. Well, not only do I see what you mean, but it was actually in 1619 that the first kidnapped Africans were brought from Africa, actually from the area in Angola that now is known as the Kwanza River area. Mm-hmm. They were brought to the United States. But what few people know is that it was 3 years earlier in 1616 when they were first brought to Bermuda. So next year, within 12 months of right now, Susan, we'll have that spiritual reawakening, or we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to give importance and appreciation and attention to those spirits for a period of time that is unlike any other time in history. Here we are right now.
Yes, totally. I'm looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back for more. SmallBusinessFunds.com. Find the right loan for your business. Need a startup loan of $1,000 to $10,000? Are you an entrepreneur with 6 months in operation looking for capital to launch? SmallBusinessFunds.com. Or an existing business with more than 6 months in need of quick loan in order to apply growth to your business? SmallBusinessFunds.com. SBF also assists established businesses with less than 100 employees. SBF, SmallBusinessFunds.com. Visit us at SmallBusinessFundz.com. Not too sure which loan's right for you? Call today and schedule a free consultation. There's no cost to apply. 678-791-2312. That's 678-791-2312. SmallBusinessFunds.com. Our courteous and experienced staff will guide you through each step of the loan process. So contact us today. SBF, SmallBusinessFunds.com.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a beat poet. Name your price. A tool, an idea, an inspiration to do more than just say what you want to pay. Oh no, but to see the options that could fit your budget. Steve, enough bongos.
Find car insurance that fits your budget at Progressive.com.
Makes me want to dance. Steve!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Have you ever heard of True Laundry Detergent? Well, here's your opportunity. True Laundry Detergent is offering a free shipping in selected areas just by texting the word TRUE to 404-493-0523 or give them a call. True Laundry Detergent is 4 times concentrated and perfect for high-efficiency washers. Just 1 ounce removes dirt and brightens fabrics, leaving each load with a clean, fresh scent. Best of all, True Laundry Detergent contains no animal products and no harsh chemicals, making it safe for sensitive skin. Follow True Laundry Detergent today. Search on social media platforms True Laundry Detergent or text the word TRUE to 404-493-0523. And when calling, be sure to ask about their free delivery. True Laundry Detergent.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us. All of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Thank you once again for staying in tune to Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr. and special guest Susan Elsa. Topic of choice, saving our planet.
Because, like for Michael, this was a very important topic too. He'd done so much to bring this to more attention in public. And, he was being fought. He was being fought with lots of tabloid lies and interfering manipulations, because there are certain people that we have to convince that that if they join this change, they're part of humanity. We're all part of humanity. Everything is connected. Even like everything on this planet is connected to everything in heaven. Yeah. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And so if these few people, if we can make them understand that it is also the best for them to be united with everyone and in peace with everyone, to heal these things, and that everyone is equal, of course, the whole planet will be different already. And this is exactly what the vision is.
Wonderful. Well, that now is that time. So again, I'm very excited and motivated to experience it and to acknowledge it and to live through it.
Yes, me too.
Well, are there some topics that you would like to cover or share?
I would say that it might be a good idea if we can do something like that in a regular basis.
Okay.
Like for like a particular, not just for the Earth Hour, right? As we did today.
Right.
But do this as a start, because it's nice to have an Earth Hour, once a year. But I think that this is not enough focus on these very important topics.
Well, before you go further, just let me make it very clear to you that what we're doing is using the world's consciousness about Earth Hour to recalibrate the entire attention, because Earth Hour is leading up in our order to Earth Day, which is next year, and that'll be next month, April 22nd. But what we're believing, Susan, is that we need to be in touch with Earth every hour of every day. So That's exactly what we're doing. Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr. And today our guest has been Susan Elsa. Is there any website or place you'd like to point people at this time, Susan, or not?
Well, I would say the main website I can give you here would be mystery-garden.com, because that's the label website, and we also have links to other partner websites and other forms of websites we have on there. And I'm the founder of that label, and it started very early in my life when I was mainly doing music, having, of course, Michael Jackson as my main role model, and actually then also meeting him in Los Angeles, which of course changed completely my own perception also on the entertainment business, and conversations with him were an important basis for me then in 2008 making this company, like this brand. So I have a lot of plans with it.
Well, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. And for this morning, there are in the first place, back on March the 28th of 2015, I had the pleasure of introducing what we call the Earth Show 777 to realign all the energies around the world into a method to heal the Earth. So this morning, perhaps you could begin with the topics of the history teaser and discuss what that meaning is.
Yes, this is all related because, first of all, that interview, the last one that we had done, was all about the planets, right? And we talked about the vortexes, like these energy chakras of the planet. And now you have the volcano eruption that happened in Chile. And then you have the earthquake that took place in the Himalaya region. And all of these things are signs, like from the planet, that there is too much negativity, too much pollution, and the planet is having like flu-type symptoms, so to speak. But of course, they show in a very powerful way in form of volcano eruptions, earthquakes, floods, heavy rain, acid rain. All of these things happen if we don't keep like the balance that is by nature, like God created nature perfectly and in perfect balance. And human beings should not interfere too much, or we will see more of these things happening as the planet is trying like to clean itself. It's a healing, you know?
Exactly, a healing of the planet. I think that also means that we have to concern ourselves with the healing of ourselves on the planet.
Exactly, because our consciousness is part of this pollution, meaning when people give into jealousy becomes normal in society, where you even see people telling each other, like friends telling each other, oh, I envy you so much. That's wrong. That's very wrong energy, and all of these things that in society also happen, like racism, for example, discrimination, all of these things, this injustice. This is very, very bad karmic energy, and it's part of why the planet is now, shaking so much in order to, shake these things off. And we have to go with that flow, or, the planet is going to get rid of the factors that are making it sick. Yeah, that's how it works.
I understand completely.
And the human body works that way too. So the planet body truth is mirrored in how the human body works. It's as simple as that. That's a very good start for people to view things. It's a very good perspective to understand what we're talking about here.
Well, I certainly agree, beginning with the idea that the Earth itself is a living sentient being, and that we are in touch with that nature of Earth in our own ecosystem. So we're all connected together. So how does that relate to our topic this morning to begin with?
I'll tell you. People say that the Archangel Michael is responsible for protection, for protecting souls, for protecting nature itself, like vegetation. You know what I mean? Yes. And if you think about that, and if you think about the planet being, of course, a very important creation of God, the angels are actively working to help humanity remember the important things, heal, and transcend their consciousness into this positive, respectful, compassionate vibe again. so that the things can be in harmony again.
Stay connected. Tell us what's on your mind. Twitter's at RealityBite121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com. Stay mobile 646-580-6603. Post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 online radio. Stay connected.
Have you ever heard of True Laundry Detergent? Well, here's your opportunity. True Laundry Detergent is offering a free shipping in selected areas just by texting the word TRUE to 404-493-0523 or give them a call. True Laundry Detergent is 4 times concentrated and perfect for high-efficiency washers. Just 1 ounce removes dirt and brightens fabrics, leaving each load with a clean, fresh scent. Best of all, True Laundry Detergent contains no animal products and no harsh chemicals, making it safe for sensitive skin. Follow True Laundry Detergent today. Search on social media platforms True Laundry Detergent or text the word TRUE to 404-493-0523. And when calling, be sure to ask about their free delivery. True Laundry Detergent. SmallBusinessFunds.com. Find the right loan for your business. Need a startup loan of $1,000 to $10,000? Are you an entrepreneur with 6 months in operation looking for capital to launch? SmallBusinessFunds.com. Or an existing business with more than 6 months in need of quick loan in order to apply growth to your business? SmallBusinessFunds.com. SBF also assists established businesses with less than 100 employees. SBF, SmallBusinessFunds.com. Visit us at SmallBusinessFundz.com. Not too sure which loan's right for you? Call today and schedule a free consultation. There's no cost to apply. 678-791-2312. That's 678-791-2312. SmallBusinessFunds.com. Our courteous and experienced staff will guide you through each step of the loan process. So contact us today. SBF, SmallBusinessFunds.com.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Infamous.
And I'm that man, Jimmy B.
And we are them KMF boys. Coming to you straight out of Pittsburgh.
Here to bring you the exclusive preview on the things we do
and the life we live.
You are now listening to Lost Pyramid Radio.
Do you have music or a company that you want to share with the world? Well, you just clicked in the right place. Lost Pyramids Music Radio, the spot for indie entrepreneurs. For more info and getting your music for a company promoted with our digital online network, contact us at 863-582-5483. And keep tuned in with us on mobileonlineradio.net. Every artist has no limits. Show.
Stay connected.
Welcome to the Dawn.
Shut it down on the ones and twos.
When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke. F-A-S-T. Fast.
Welcome to the dawn. You've just accessed the now experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites.
The history teaser is basically it's a very important message that has been misunderstood. And in the tabloids, there was a lot of misinformation being circulated, such as that Michael meant to express something like anti-Semitic, for example, was said about that history teaser. And in fact, it has nothing to do with any of these things. He might have used some symbols like as a way of visual expression in an artistic way, like things from human history all over the place, such as the Red Army. The Red Army that was seen actually as a very important force that defeated the Nazis, you know. So he meant to show this Archangel Michael angle on things. And this is why you have this celebration moment at the end where people are standing around and white feathers are falling down on them. And then his sculpture is revealed and people realize fully that he is the Archangel Michael and the planet is free, like humanity is freed, it's healed. The battle is over. It's like a celebration moment.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. And now, does that lead into the Dangerous album itself?
Exactly. Because the Dangerous album is, in its core, about Black history, right? It's about Black history. It's about discrimination. Look at all the songs that he has on this album and the lyrics and the videos and the topics. You tell me, what do you see in the Dangerous album? Well, back in, you remember the Black or White video? Where he turns into a Black Panther and does this aggressive type of demonstration type dance in the streets?
Yes.
This video, if you look at things that are happening now in the Black community, especially in America, right?
Right.
This is in time. Like, it's still valid. The message is still important. It still hasn't been fully heard. Because back then, he was already speaking of he was showing repressed anger of the Black community. He was playing with the cliches in this video, right? And finally, he was saying, it doesn't matter if you are Black or white. It should be about the soul, about your inside, about your deeds, about, you know, appreciating the different creations that God made to learn from them. And of course, Heal the World is also a song that was on this album. Then we have Jam, where the whole video is also taking place in a more poor neighborhood. And you have all these kids like basically hanging around in the street, like not having much perspective, reflecting in front of the window, playing some basketball in the street. And then you have Michael Jordan in there too, as an example of someone from the Black community that made it, you know?
Right.
And so all of these things are very underestimated due to the tabloid interferences. And in fact, the whole war that took place back then, when Michael had released the Dangerous album and was on tour, they started accusing him falsely of these child molestation accusations, right? That was while he was on tour. So this album is very important because it actually shows live in the public how a Black man was attacked with very unfair, sneaky methods, like a witch hunt in the public, because he became too famous, too powerful, too rich.
Got it.
And he was rebelling, and he was putting all that anger and passion and desire for justice into that album.
So that's also where we'll also find Remember the Time, that brings us back into, again, the realization that this is all kind of connected together. so to speak.
Yes.
It's not unusual. However, that was, if you recall, the first time in history that a video had really actually recounted the history of the Africans, from the beginning until now, and showing them in all their power and glory, which also could, in fact, be considered as, quote, threatening, unquote, to the status quo.
Yes. In fact, if you look at Hollywood movies, you'll see that there are quite a few productions that have been made about ancient Egypt or ancient Africa, and all of them give a not so correct image. And all of them have this fear-mongering type mood, this portraying them always as bad, as somehow evil, as somehow into dark things spiritually. You know what I mean? There has never been one Hollywood movie that showed the authentic history of ancient Egypt. And this was one of Michael's biggest film plans that made a few people actually turn against him just because he wanted to make a project like that, like a film project.
Right.
And then he did it in a mini movie, meaning a video, but he wanted to take this further, and as he was on the tour, they started attacking with these horrible false accusations that would bring anyone out of focus and make you lose your sleep and have anger attacks and all of these things where you can't really focus on your work when you are being publicly accused of things like that and you're innocent. It's like a torture, Right. But I think in history, there have been many black men, especially, that somehow made a movement or were successful or overcame barriers, and then they were attacked. Because that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And the energy is showing in everything that is happening in the consciousness of people right now, too, especially in the United States. Why? Because in the United States, I'm sorry to be so frank, but there's still a lot of racism. There's still a lot of, it's probably like, I'm not saying other countries don't have racism. Of course, there's other places in the world where there's racism too still, and it has to be completely healed, But in the United States, it's very bad. Because don't forget, Michael Jackson was an American citizen. Yeah. He was black. Yeah. He had millions of fans, meaning there is this, public support that automatically would make it more difficult to attack someone like that. And still, they didn't care. They attacked him straight up with all they got. Like literal public mind war, including also saying he bleached himself, he doesn't want to be black, and all of these things to turn the people against him.
Yes, but at the same time, if I recall correctly, Michael Jackson spent a lot of time in Africa, and he made it very clear that he felt a rooting of his soul in Africa, as do all African Americans. And I think, the picture that he was painting then is so important now, particularly when you mention things like the black consciousness rising right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is exactly like what is going on now, and it's going to become more obvious to the public, and also worldwide people are going to see changes.
We are now currently in conversation with Andrew Williams Jr. Stay tuned for more right after this commercial break.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a beat poet. Name your price. A tool, an idea, an inspiration to do more than just say what you want to pay. Oh no, but to see the options that could fit your budget. Steve, enough bongos.
Find car insurance that fits your budget at Progressive.com.
Makes me want to dance. Steve!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hey, you should be making a living with your music by now. No one is going to listen to your music if you have few to no plays, likes, or followers. Don't stay behind. Promote your music now. Visit the link below for more info.
You are currently tuned in to Reality Bites Talk Radio.
I don't know about you, but dodging chaos and jumping through hoops isn't how I want to spend time booking my flights. I get enough of that. That's why I use CheapoAir.com. They do all the work for you, so its best airfares are automatically returned in just seconds. And that means you can book with confidence. Cheapo Air saves you time, and you can find amazing rates, guaranteed. Seriously, Cheapo Air is the smart choice. Book today to save up to $20. Cheapo Air, travel the world for less.
Now, let's take this opportunity to book your next business or vacation getaway with Cheapo Air. For quick and easy access, simply scroll down our webpage at mobileonlineradio.net and click on the banner ad to get started today. Stay connected and join the conversation at any time, or tell us what's on your mind. Tweet us at RealityBites121 or email us RealityBitesRadio@gmail.com or stay mobile 646-580-6603. And also post and join the conversation on our FB page. Search LPMR.207 Online Radio. Reality Bites Radio.
Recently, one of the biggest Swiss banks has gotten an African expert. He's an expert in insurance, I think, in banking, and he is now the boss. And things like that were actually a discussion here. Everyone was discussing like a black guy now being like the boss of one of the biggest Swiss banks, and it triggered automatically a discussion about his skin color, and I was like, why does that matter? Like, if you have to calculate some numbers and things like that, you're not doing that with your skin, And but it's interesting because it shows this is the first time something like that happened here. And Switzerland is very important in, let's say, the financial marketplace and banking, of course, and all of these things. And I think that this is one of these signs that shows there are changes happening now, and the black consciousness is rising also because Archangel Michael incarnated as a black man for a purpose. Now he's in spirit again and completing the mission. He's much stronger in spirit.
Right.
He was just here demonstrating some things, showing some things, triggering debates, especially about skin color. Don't forget, his skin disorder was very central in the discussion around him.
Yes, and still continues.
And what's interesting here is that, of course, like, you might look at it superficially, medically, and say this was a skin disorder. But from a spiritual perspective, that had its purpose as well, because it made him adjust in his appearance more to me. And I'm his twin soul. We're one. And this is why this message is so important, because it shows you that, like if you do wrong to your neighbor, you might never know. This person might be the other half of your soul, so to speak. You have so-called soulmate theories, right? So this is just a detail I'm giving you here. And so if black and white, so to speak, seemingly, you see that with your physical eye, which is in a way an illusion. People are not what we see on the surface. People are what they are inside, their soul, right? So you have here a black guy and an Arab girl, which is I'm not so dark, because my mom is actually has a Turkish bloodline too. So and she's very white. And my dad is like a dark Egyptian. So this is a very interesting thing, because finally it shows that we're all one.
Yes.
Me and Michael are one, even if we're different ethnic backgrounds, so to speak, and one soul.
Yes.
So there is much more to life than what people see if they look superficial, and that is worth it to overcome these things now and look into the rich inner life that God gave us, you know.
So in this transition from into Earth Show 777, where we mobilize all the fans of Michael Jackson to support this effort and communicate and interact with each other, how do you see this unfolding as we move forward, since we just finished Earth Day?
Yes, actually, even the Pope has called in a climate change conference and is doing a lot of efforts now for the planet, urging people to focus on, you know, protecting the planet, because every matter that we can discuss here, you know, as human beings, doesn't matter anymore if somehow something happens to the planet.
Exactly.
You know, that's the most important thing. And we have this radio soul family network idea that we're working on. And there's going to be fans that, well, I like to call soul family members that will do each their own radio hour about Michael, about different aspects, such as his charity work or the messages in his songs, or the injustices that he had to endure and what it means in relation also to everyone else in society, and all of these things. Like, we're still working out things, but we're going to start soon, and that will help to have we need a focused community type point online also.
Yes.
Where we can gather, like where we can unite the fans.
Right.
You know? Because we can't mobilize the fans if we can't unite them in one spot.
Right. That's what I bring to the table, among other things. The first interview that we had, and this one and future ones, will actually be rebroadcast on trn.tv. That's for the Revelation Network. And that's where we have an opportunity there, if you so choose, where we can actually involve the fans, not just in hearing what we're talking about, but in setting up a calendar of events, so that we can all then be able to plan and coordinate our activities no matter where we are in the world. It's very important, too, Susan, to realize that now, as we mentioned before, there have been cataclysmic events that have affected the world, and now not just the Pope, but also the head of the United Nations and others have agreed that we certainly have to focus on the survivability of our planet. Mm-hmm. So there's a transition. This is 2015. As I said, there are 8 goals. They're relatively easy to find, but we're working with number 8, which is global partnerships for development, using collaborative arts and technology. So all I'm suggesting is that what we do, Susan, is we share this information with all of our fans and members so that they'll understand they have a global impact on what we're doing right now. And this opportunity can provide a way that we can connect together with ourselves for the rest of our lives and everyone else on the planet.
Yes, in fact, everyone sitting at home right now and hearing this, they can take 5 minutes and just from their hearts, okay, like in prayer, so to speak, focus on wishing well to the planet, wishing well to certain areas on the planet or certain communities going through troubles and attacks. All of these things, they actually have an effect. And the more people do that, the more it has an effect. That's the consciousness level that we talked about before.
Right.
Changing that is a big step in these changes. It would make things much easier.
Well, let me ask you then, is it possible for you to create a planning schedule and programming schedule so that as we have our maybe weekly interviews or times, we could set 1 5-minute period of time during each day to allow all of our contacts to all spiritually take that 5 moments and focus on healing the world?
Yes, that would be nice. There's actually a website. It's called majorlove.org, I think. It's made by Michael Jackson fans, and it's about, it has these prayer groups, and they set up particular times where everyone focuses. And so there's already like people that actually got this message and understand it and are applying it. We just have to gather more and more people into this, and not just Michael Jackson fans, because you see, the planet should matter to everyone walking on it. if they like Michael or not, doesn't matter. But here, but of course, like, you see, like, it's going to happen somehow. It takes a lot of work and planning and structuring and making like logos, because I want this to be really good and like professional. So that's also fun for the listeners to regularly listen to these radio hours then, and also interact, like call in and things like that.
Well, yeah,
that
but let me just update the fans listening that the website is actually www.majorloveprayer.org, and that is identified as where Michael Jackson fans unite for love. But Susan, look, we have about 4 minutes left of this half-hour conversation, so think about the things that you'd like to share, and also to lead us into our next interview and our next way of following up on this important series of conversations.
Well, obviously, the whole debate between different ethnic backgrounds of people, let's say it like that, is a very central one right now. And you see, when it's about uniting humanity, we have to eliminate these things that separate human beings, that separate neighbors, friends, lovers, countries like that are neighboring next to each other, and continents finally. All of that has to be consolidated, and it has to be one unit of humanity. Just like in these movies when they show how aliens are attacking planet Earth, and then all humanity suddenly is one big family and one big unit. Why is that? Why does it have to be like a situation like that where humanity would think about uniting? Let's just do it now.
Well, actually, the Earth is under attack right now, but it's more difficult perhaps to understand it or accept it. But there are cataclysmic effects right now that force us all who are conscious of it to rally together and unite. So yes, that is the message, in fact.
Yeah, that's true. There is an attack on the planet, but of course from within, like meaning from human beings that are doing wrong, that are thinking temporary, and they think, yeah, well, I have this short life here and it doesn't matter what happens after, I'm just going to live until this and that age. No, that's not true, because you gotta stand in front of a final judgment afterwards in spirit. And then Archangel Michael is going to be there, and all the other archangels are going to be like, so what was it that you were doing with the planet? And why did you do that? And by the way, why did you accuse me falsely of horrible things like that? You know exactly that I'm innocent. Like, seriously, it's going to be horrible for these people once they pass into spirit. So they should make a change now for their own sake, their own karma, and their own soul. Because if we all have it nice together and peaceful, they too will actually be more happy. Because you can't be happy if you have all this heavy karma. It's the best for them also to make a change. Money is not the most important thing. Rather invest now in future technology, like green technology, and don't be so greedy and manipulative. You're going to profit too from this change.
Yes, as will the Earth.
Yes, exactly. Well, they are on the planet, right?
Well, certainly. But the profiting, that's another aspect of what's happening now. I mentioned the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. Their focus now is what they call the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. However, Susan, we are in a state of decline, so you cannot sustain a decline. You have to have regenerative solutions, and I think that's what you're speaking about now. Technologies that will allow us to reconnect with the Earth as an ecosystem so that we're actually healing it, not just preventing ourselves from hurting it more.
And technology that goes in tune with nature's rules, not polluting it, but using its strength. That actually would be much better technology, but they can't see it because their view is clouded.
Well, I'm laughing because, of course, that brings us back to what's called permaculture. And permaculture was the first underlying technology there was on Earth, and it was all through agriculture. So that's where you have Osiris, that's known as the god of agriculture. And here we are again, where in urban communities, where I am in Los Angeles, for example, we're in what they call a food desert. We have a lot of fast food places. We have a lot of places where you can go and get food real quick, but you don't have any examples of, people actually using urban gardening, where you can use your space, even if it's a very small space, even if it's inside, to get in touch with growing your food again, and then learning how to prepare your food. And
that's what Michael Jackson was doing, yes. He was having his own little organic veggies, fruits, gardens and such. He didn't he liked to grow it himself, like absolutely pure, clean,
Well, that's not only amazing, Susan. Amazing, not because he was doing it, but amazing because it's only now that this is coming out. But I would hope you agree that it's that kind of example that he set that it's important, I think, for us to share with the fans, and not only allow them to experience that, but actually help them to achieve the same healing process in their own lives from the conversations that we have.
Exactly. And we're going to get into the practical matters and everything soon too. And I think the time is up now, but I'll definitely think about the next steps and let you know very soon.
All right, thank you so very much, Susan Elza. This is Andrew Williams Jr., and have a fantastic day. We're out.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
And for more conversations in syndication with Andrew Williams Jr., always go to UCIT.tv, channel 605. Join us next week, Sunday, right here on Reality Bites, as Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr. will be talking about Art, Life, and Live Wellness Tour 2017.
Welcome to the Dawn. You've just accessed the Now Experience.
Let's stop talking rhetoric and begin to start talking truth. Reality Bites.
Do you have music or a company that you want to share with the world? Well, you just clicked in the right place. Lost Pyramids Music Radio, the spot for indie entrepreneurs. For more info and getting your music or company promoted with our digital online network, contact us at 863-582-5483. And keep tuned in with us on mobileonlineradio.net. Every artist has no limits. For sure.
Stay connected.
Welcome to the Dawn.
Shut it down on the ones and twos.